Hey, and welcome back to Morgellons Discussion and Microscopy Videos. I'm your host, Jeremy Murphy, and today I want to talk about why we need to have a new Morgellons movement. The suggestion has been made that this is just something to get attention, something to act crazy and be weird. But no, there's actually a purpose behind this and a reason why we're doing this. And basically, the reason is because we weren't allowed at the table. Our voices weren't heard. Whenever we raised serious concerns, they were marginalized. And being a Morgellons patient, we were already marginalized. So I'm going to give you some specific examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. These are my personal examples. Other people who want to be the new Morgellons movement themselves or be the individual autonomous presentation of the Morgellons science, they've gone through similar scenarios themselves. And it put a bad taste in their mouth about the way things are currently being done. So when people say that the Morgellons community should be united, the problem with that is what it means currently is everybody with opinions other than what these people over here that are running the Old Morgellons movement think should just shut up. And that's the way we feel about it. And let me give you some specifics. For example, YouTube. When I first started advocating for Morgellons, nobody had access to the science unless they purchased the conference DVDs and they could watch them. They had the scientific research was available, but not an explanation of what the scientific research really meant. And so I said we need to put these conference videos on the YouTube so people know. And basically I was mocked. Like, YouTube isn't scientific. That was the exact specific response, was YouTube's not scientific. And my point was, well, it's not supposed to be scientific. It's media outlet. It's supposed to be informative in this case. And eventually, years later, those conference videos ended up on the YouTube, and now people are starting to get a better understanding. But if they had been on YouTube like 5 or 6 years ago when I suggested that, then we wouldn't be so far behind today. And what happened in the absence of those videos being on there is more and more information was allowed to pile up without any kind of an official response. I'll give you another example is the cryptocurrency. When I started Morgellons Coin, the point of the Morgellons Coin was to raise money for scientific research. But it was treated like it's an illegal thing, like it's taboo, like it's criminal. Like cryptocurrency would make Morgellons look bad. But that's not the case at all. Cryptocurrency is working. You can go to an ATM in your gas station and buy and sell Bitcoin. In your gas station. If we had been pumping Morgellons coin, if I had support from the Old Morgellons movement behind Morgellons coin, we may have millions of dollars for scientific research today because of the last two bull runs. But instead, my idea was stigmatized, sidelined, and I was basically made to feel like I just needed to shut up about it. That's why we have a new Morgellons movement, because we have these great ideas that are shut down. And we don't want to funnel everything through. It's funny because one of the things I keep hearing is, well, we don't have a medical advisory board to keep us from not doing things. So I can imagine, a motive for wanting to start an advocacy effort that can sideline that medical advisory board. So you can just do whatever the hell you wanted. But the point is the medical advisory board is there to keep on message and to ensure that the efforts are going to be productive. But then again, I can't say that everybody on the medical advisory board has made the best decisions either. You cannot filter the science through one organization, especially when they're making bad decisions like going down to the CDC to protest in the middle of a pandemic and then telling a black man at the employee entrance where the public interest was on the other side of the building, not even considering that that guy could be an employee or a contractor himself. It's embarrassing. We didn't want to see that happen, but our voices weren't considered. We were sidelined. That agenda was railroaded through. And what's it gotten us? As far as I know, nobody's read that binder that was mailed to the CDC, as predicted. Maybe they will. Maybe they will next week. I don't think so. I mean, why would they? Just a few weeks earlier, people were down there screaming on the sidewalks that they weren't on drugs. And Morgellons patients are killing themselves. They're 800 times more likely to kill themselves. And that's bogus. Especially if Lyme disease patients are 75% more likely to kill themselves. That's a lot, but that's not 80,000%. You know, another thing is the slander. I mean, people could say whatever they want in the groups and get away with it. But when a group administrator, who the officials from the Old Morgellons Movement are associating with, slandered me, said something about me, and I raised concern about it impacting my ability to make money, I was told to just forget about it. Just keep the peace. Don't worry about it. You trying to make money off Morgellons patients? Basically, my concern was marginalized. And, I mean, it just showed me really that these people are tone deaf and they're ignorant. I mean, they're really ignorant about the way things work. You know, you don't do that, okay? And you definitely don't associate with someone who's doing that. As far as I know, I could have lost clients because of this person. And I'm not getting new clients because of the association there. That's why we have a new Morgellons movement. Because of the corruption in the Old Morgellons movement. You know, there are things that we're going to do. We're going to have a second act. We're going to have a third act. We're going to keep doing things. It's not always going to be mailing cards, greeting cards with glitter on them. But we are going to do this cryptocurrency thing. And we are going to raise money for Morgellons research. Because we know that there are other ways to do it. There are other ways to do things. And our problem with the way things are going right now is that they are not working. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Okay? Harassing the CDC isn't going to get Morgellons legitimized. And even if the CDC legitimized Morgellons, the states aren't going to have to adopt that. People are still having to fly out of state to get a Lyme disease diagnosis. So there's a lot of considerations to be made, but there are reasons. There are legitimate reasons why we have a new Morgellons movement. And we've tried. Several people have tried to work things out with the Old Morgellons movement. But they're tone deaf. They don't want to hear it. They want to keep doing things the way they think they need to be done or feel they need to be done. I don't think there's a lot of thinking going on there. You know, we heard over and over again this movie, The Skin Deep, is going to legitimize Morgellons. This movie's going to hit. The CDC is going to say they're sorry. Everything's going to be better. And it didn't happen. But people like me and others in the new Morgellons movement knew it wasn't going to happen. We knew it was going to take more than just a movie. We knew that there was going to be more work to do after that movie dropped. So, there are other ways to do things, but when we bring them to the table and get sidelined, what do you expect? I mean, it's a high control environment where things have to be a certain way or not, and that certain way or not doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. Okay? The Old Morgellons movement is screwing up. They can't even... We've got these two Reuters stories. You've got Charles Holman on Twitter saying that Reuters is crap for not including the scientific information about Morgellons, which they did. And they can't even come out and issue a correction. Why? Why is it so hard to come out and say, we screwed up, we made a mistake? We are so happy Reuters included this information. And I'll tell you why. It's because they're tone deaf, they're making bad decisions. I'm not afraid to say that. But I know there's going to be retaliation for saying it. I know they're going to start talking crap about me, like they always have. And it's not just me. When you look online and you start reading about other people's experiences, you see that this is a habit of marginalizing people with great ideas, smart ideas, who can help bring the community together instead of tearing it further apart. You want to know why there's a division? It's because of this high control environment that marginalizes patients, professionals, and their real ideas. You know, we can't all afford to take a sleigh ride in Europe for Morgellons. You know, most of us have to sit here and suffer at home, doing our thing, trying to raise awareness, while we're being treated like crap in the process. That's why there's a new Morgellons movement, because we know we deserve respect. We know the Old Morgellons movement is screwing up bad, and we want to see Morgellons legitimized. So we're not going to do things the same old way. We're not going to harass the CDC. We're not going to be victims. We're empowered. We're going to stand up, and we're going to do what we know is right, even if that means leaving the Old Morgellons group behind. The Old Morgellons movement, if they can't catch up with the times, then we're going to do it. We're going to get Morgellons across the finish line. We're going to get Morgellons legitimized. We may not have the resources now, but we have a camera, we have a light, we have a microphone, and we have a voice. And I'm not the only one. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Please hit that subscribe button. Share this video with your friends. Encourage them to subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell. We'll let you know every time a new video comes up. And we're definitely having a great time in the comments down below. Leave me a comment. We'll hit the discussion. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you real soon.